I have seen one person pull out the same card. It's 78 cards. I've shuffled the deck and she's pulled out the same card 7 times in one reading.
Oh my god. As per tarot readings, what should people focus on this year?
This is a great year for new beginnings, for moving countries, for starting new jobs, for starting new businesses. Don't expect it to be like overnight successes, like if you start anything new. But it's a great year if you're in it for the long haul and for long term.
We want to get into all the zodiac signs one by one, and we actually want to give predictions for the year for each and every zodiac sign.
Try not to wear your heart on your sleeve and trust everybody and everything that they're saying. Don't take everyone on face value. So tarot was actually invented in the 14th, 15th century. It was a game. It was a game of playing cards, and they called it tarocchi in Italy.
Okay.
And from there, it moved to France. And in like the 18th century, occultists started using it for, divinity purposes and deriving meanings from the cards. And even the traditional playing cards, like if you see, all of those suits are derived from tarot. So tarot cards also have different suits, like we have, clubs, spades, etc.
Yeah.
We have suits in tarots. We have the king and queen and knight, everything. So that's originally where it came from. And it was only in 1909, the most famous tarot deck, which everybody uses, which is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, was created. So this deck was created with an infusion of like a lot of symbols. And these symbols were taken from different religions and assigned different meanings. And now with that coming into more popularity, it became mainstream. And now people read it just for divinity purposes to interpret what energies are. So my take on tarot is, I don't feel tarot is predicting your future. Tarot is an energy reading medium. It's reading the energy around you, of you, and, places you're in and people near you, situational energies. So yeah, tarot, I would say, is an energy reading medium.
Okay. And what a lot of people think, is that tarot readings or, whenever they go to an astrologer, whatever is said, it is permanent. They think that readings like these are permanent. I want to understand from you, is that true or not?
Listen, if a tarot reader tells you that your future is fixed, run. It's not. I don't believe any medium or psychic is God. And I don't believe your future is fixed. And not just with tarot, I feel with everything else, what it's really doing is, it's telling you the trajectory you're on, not your final destination.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little bit of an analogy. Think of it like, we watch these detective shows. And sometimes they switch on these UV lights and you can see these stains which were not visible and like, oh, yahan pe ye tha. Mr. India was invisible, but in like red light. I don't know if you're aware of this movie. Most millennials will be.
I just saw of it. I've not watched it.
So yeah, every 90s kid has. He was invisible and in red light you could suddenly see him.
Yeah.
So I see tarot and other mediums like that they bring to light energy which you can't see. But they'll tell you what the current energy is and where it's leading you. Suppose if I'm doing your reading and I'm like, Rashi, looks like the current trajectory you're on is going to lead you to this river. And you're like, but I don't want to go to the river. I want to go to the hills.
Yeah.
So then change your course of action.
Yeah.
That's entirely up to you. Free will is with you. You can even ask the cards for guidance that
Correct.
help me change my course of action. If I'm headed here, this is not where I want to be going. What should I do? It's basically a tool to understand yourself better, bring to surface your intuition. A lot of times people come to me and they're like, everybody's telling me, listen to your gut feeling, listen to your gut feeling, but I don't know what my gut is saying. So the cards can help you with that. You will energetically pull out those cards, which will help your reader translate what maybe your gut already knows, and you can get a little bit of guidance. Or sometimes when you know what is it that you want, but you don't know if the situation around you is aligned for you to get what you want, tarot can help you with that. So I don't believe it's like 100% like yahi hone wala hai tumhari life mein. I feel nobody can do that. Nobody is God. I mean, if that was the case, everybody should have just warned us COVID's coming like months ago, and we would have all been prepared. But it is a medium for guidance. It can tell you what's likely to happen, and if you want to change it, it's entirely up to you to change it.
Yeah, and you're talking a lot about energy here, right? You're mentioning energy a lot. Now, I want to understand, how does energy play a part in tarot readings?
Okay, beautiful question. Glad you picked up on this and asked. I feel tarot works on three things. It's energy, intuition, intention.
Okay.
The energy that you bring to the cards. You're not just shuffling paper, you're energetically interacting with this medium. So we do a little bit of a meditation to make sure that your energy is reflected in the reading.
Okay.
Then the intuition of the person who is doing the reading for you. So your reader, the medium, their intuition matters because they'll be able to translate what the cards are saying to you. And the third important thing is intention. If you have the right intention, even if you're cynical, even if you're just curious, but you have the right intention that you want to find out, that's what the cards will pick up on. That's what you will just yourself pull out. And this blows my mind every time this happens, that like I have seen one person pull out the same card. It's 78 cards. I've shuffled the deck and she's pulled out the same card 7 times in one reading.
Oh my God.
Now, if it's happening so much, it can't be coincidence.
Yeah.
It's basically like the cards are screaming at you that, listen, this is the only lesson you need to take right now.
Yes.
And that's energy.
Correct.
So I feel energy matters a lot when you come to a reading.
That's so interesting. And do you have any personal story wherein a tarot reading kind of changed your life or any of your clients' life?
I have lots of stories, but I'll start with my life. So I was a skeptic. I didn't believe in tarot. I started doing this out of curiosity during COVID, and also because before COVID, I'd gone to a couple of tarot readers and surprisingly, they were right. And they told me that I'm also about to get into this. And I didn't quite believe them. But in COVID, I just started experimenting with the cards. And me and my partner and my best friend, like I would do readings for all of us. And we would click pictures and we would record myself doing these readings. And then we'd see, like out of curiosity, if it comes true. And it kept coming true. And it happened so often that I was like I can't keep dismissing this as coincidence.
Yeah.
So it turned me from skeptic into a believer.
Yes.
And then when I started doing readings for other people, I really started enjoying it. I work as a marketer. I help brands. Here now I could just see that I'm actually helping people. Like somebody's coming with anxiety and they're going, feeling lighter, having more clarity. I started enjoying that so much that pushed me on to learning more things, and I started doing NLP and became a behavior coach and, started doing more light work and healing work. So it really shifted my life, and it took me by surprise because it wasn't a planned shift. I'll also give you an example of times when it didn't change my life, because again, here's where free will comes in. So this was, I think, 2024. Me and my husband were planning a vacation, and it was last minute, and we couldn't decide where to go.
Correct.
So we had like 4 options, and me being me was doing like Excel sheets, pros and cons, and blah blah. But we couldn't come to a decision. So we were like, you know what? Let's just ask the cards where we should go.
Yeah.
We asked for all of the 4 places, and I got no for everything. And I was like, what? You don't want me to go on vacation? Like, what is this? Like, should I not go? And then I did another reading, and it said, like, advise not to go because you're going to be met with unforeseen expenses.
Okay.
And I was like, but I want to go. And my husband and I were like, we're burnt out. We deserve a vacation.
Yeah.
Chalega, we'll go. And we went.
Nah.
And on the trip, we were met with unforeseen expenses. When we came back, again, there were unforeseen expenses. But now, because we knew this was coming and we had decided to go despite this reading, we were okay with it. So there you see, you always have free will.
Correct.
You can do what you want. It just kind of tells you,
It prepares you.
yeah, this is what's supposed to happen. And I feel that's also the job of a good reader. Like, if your reader is scaring you, and if you're leaving a reading with fear
Yeah.
rather than feeling empowered, that's a red flag. I don't like people who try to, instill fear in the minds of the clients and then like ask them for a big fat fee to now give you a remedy for this.
Yeah.
The remedy is always in your hands. You can figure it out, and a good reader will guide you to that. Coming to another example of somebody else, this happens a lot as well. A lot of times people come to me for love readings when they're unable to find love.
Yeah.
And so many times the cards will just pull out things where it kind of brings to surface things that they're neglecting, that you need to heal yourself first. You need to love yourself first. And only then will you find love. Because if you don't love you, you're not ready to receive the love of somebody else. So this happens so often that the cards will kind of bring to surface things which you are ignoring. And once you heal that part, love comes in your life.
That is so beautiful. And do people come to you, say, to heal from issues like heartbreak or any kind of past trauma, to ask cards for guidance? Does that happen?
Yes. And you'll be surprised, Rashi, so many times people come and they're not aware of the issues that they're carrying or they need help from.
Yeah.
They'll come with the current problem, but the cards will bring to surface those issues. Sometimes, and a lot of times, people come asking, like, who's blocking my energy? What's standing in the way? A lot of times it's you.
Yeah.
You're blocking your energy, but you're not aware. And there are cards in the deck which point this out so beautifully. The Devil card, the 8 of Swords, they help you reflect inwards and understand what you're doing wrong and you need to stop doing in order to change where you're going. I'll give you another example of this. This isn't just about healing, but this is something that people talk to me a lot about. It's about manifesting and, I want this, but why is this not coming? I'll just give you a very typical example because I feel it's relatable for more people. A lot of Indian households, you'll see, save their best china and crockery for when guests will come.
Always.
Okay, it's always locked inside. You don't use it daily. Special occasions when guests will come. Now, energetically and subconsciously to your brain, what is this signal? You're not special. Your family is not special. You are not special enough to use this.
You don't deserve it.
You don't deserve it. And then you want to manifest riches and wealth. But if you're sending this mixed signal that I don't believe that I deserve to live in richness and wealth, I'm not special enough, and you're manifesting it, you're giving mixed signals.
Correct.
So the universe doesn't really know what to listen to. And this I'm speaking spiritually, but it's also subconsciously, like we spoke in our NLP podcast. And no amount of visualization and manifesting will bring it to you. So many times people come to me and they're like, I don't forgive and forget. I hold on to grudges. Now, what are you doing there? The signal you're giving is, I don't deserve closure.
Yeah.
I don't deserve to move on.
Correct.
You're blocking your own happy, positive energy.
Yeah.
And think of it like a vase, right? If it's full of these resentments and unhappiness and things that you're holding on to from the past, you're not leaving enough room for the new things to come in, for the happy things to come
Yes,
in.
yes.
So if you go into healing, a lot of light workers also do this. When they remove your trauma and they remove your, past hurt, they'll fill that space with some positive life, positive energy. And that's really important. And I feel like the cards bring that to surface so often. They'll tell you what you're holding on to, what you need to walk away from in order to let the good come in your life, in order to create space for it.
Yeah, the example you gave was so beautiful because that happens so often in our households. And I also wanted to ask you that, can we block our own blessings energetically by our own energy?
Absolutely. I mean, take this example that I just mentioned. It's actually that in effect. When you are holding on to resentment, you're blocking your blessings. When you are giving these signals to the world, I'm not special enough, I'm not good enough, you're blocking your abundance. When you don't love yourself, but you want somebody else to love you, you are blocking love in your life.
Correct.
So you need to work on yourself, go inward, change your energy, and your life will change.
Yeah. And, through the podcast, I obviously want to talk about this year, how it's going to go for people, the future of our country. But before that, I want to ask you, how was 2025 for most people like energetically?
2025 honestly was a tough year.
Yeah.
So in Chinese astrology, it was the year of the snake. So it was all about shedding
Correct.
and, transformation and removal of things that didn't serve you. But anytime you're going through transformation and change, it's hard. So the energy of 2025 was also Mars. Mars is aggression. It's the planet of stormy weather and a lot of aggressions. We saw a lot of wars, etc. And in general, last year, I had a lot of people come to me just questioning their life, questioning their careers, questioning their relationships, questioning themselves, because it was energetically also the year of number 9. So numerologically, they say years go in cycles. 2026 is the year of number 1.
Number 1.
So it's the beginning of a new cycle.
Yes.
2025 was an ending of an old cycle. So a lot of things that you started 9 years ago were coming to fruition in 2025. Those chapters were ending.
Correct.
Things that serve you, belong with you, are supposed to be in your life will get carried forward. But a lot of things that don't, whether you want it or not, were falling off.
Yeah.
So it was a tough year, but if you think about it energetically and spiritually, whatever didn't serve you fell off. So good riddance.
Yeah. And how is 2026 going to be for people, from your understanding and also from the readings that you've done from a tarot perspective?
So 2026 is numerologically number 1. It's the year of new beginnings. It's your first baby steps into where you want to be at in 2034. And it's also the year of fire horse with Chinese astrology. In terms of tarot also, this is a year where I foresee a lot of sword cards. Whenever I'm doing readings, a lot of sword cards are coming. It's a lot to do with mental work, a lot to do with intuition, a lot to do with new beginnings. We'll see a lot of calls for truth and awakening of sorts. We'll see traditional structures collapsing, which didn't serve, like we just spoke in 2025, and new beginnings, new institutions, new ideas form. AI will be big. AI, again, has a lot to do with intellect. And this year is going to be a lot about that.
Okay. But there are a lot of geopolitical tensions that are happening right now, with the current war situation. And a lot of people are not feeling good. People are feeling anxious. Flights are getting cancelled. A lot of things are happening around us. So, what is going to happen in the geopolitical regard this year?
So even my readings pull out a lot of bold moves in the first quarter of 2026. When I'm saying the first quarter, I don't mean your fiscal year tax-wise. I mean Jan, Feb, March. So in 2026, again, it's the year of rebellion, right? That's number one. It's new beginnings. We'll see a lot of leaders with nationalist agendas. Nobody this year is really talking about world peace. Everybody has strong national rhetorics and they want to protect their own sovereignty. Nobody is backing down. So start of this year, we'll see more of like bold proclamations and, beginning of new alliances. And in the second quarter, we'll see a lot of those alliances collapse. Per my reading, in the second quarter, we'll realize maybe out of 10, 7 alliances were not as truthful as they meant to be. They were more fragile, they'll collapse, there'll be more espionage. In the third quarter, leaders will start thinking more long-term strategy. And in the fourth quarter, we'll see very fast, rapid changes politically as well as in like the world order. You'll see like events are happening really fast. This year is not so much about consensus politics and cooperative diplomacy. It's more about centralized authority. And we're seeing that anyways across the world. Power is concentrated in a few hands. It's more about individual-led decisions rather than democratic decisions. So that energy of number one is very strong this year. It's also the year of the sun. So we'll also have rude awakenings. Like a lot of things which were hidden will come to light and will be illuminated. This year has a little bit of a tough energy, but it's good. It's good karmically because it's supposed to happen. If you don't let go of the past, you don't move into the future.
That is so interesting. And, coming to India, I want to talk a little bit about India's future as per tarot readings as well. As per tarot readings, how does India's future really look like in 2026?
So India in 2026 is alert, it's learning quickly, and it's ready for action. In 2025, we saw that India came into the limelight. On a global stage, we became more noticeable. Our presence was more felt. In 2026, we will also concentrate on developing ourselves further as a country, be it with technology, AI, with our agriculture. We'll see strengthening institutions. We will see going back to our traditions and learning from them, bringing that old forgotten culture back. We will see investments in infrastructure, investments in education. And towards the end of the year, we'll also see a boom in the luxury sector. We'll see a boom in harvests, in agriculture, in creativity. India is really emerging as an economical and cultural hub.
Okay.
So this year is really good for us in terms of creativity, in terms of bettering ourselves, in terms of just being ready to act up whatever is thrown at us.
Nice. That's great. And even on a personal front, I wanted to know, as per tarot readings, what should people focus on this year?
That is such a good question. And I'm glad you asked this. I think 2026 is the year of realignment.
Okay.
And you can take that as a theme for everything, for countries, for like everyone's careers, for your relationships, for your relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
My advice to everybody for 2026 would be think of where you want to be in 2034 at the end of this cycle and start shifting towards that. Make this year a year that you go inwards, that you analyze yourself, you analyze your environment, your friendships, and take with you the positives and shed the things that are not serving you.
Yeah.
This is a great year for new beginnings, for moving countries, for starting new jobs, for starting new businesses. Don't expect it to be like overnight successes, like if you start anything new. But it's a great year if you're in it for the long haul and for long term to like take that first step. And honestly, the energy of this year is so strong. You will see that. You'll see that with your friends. You will see that in families. Like last year was a lot about health issues. Like they were so common. Everybody was going through a lot. This year, you'll see everybody starting new things. Like it's a year of fresh beginnings. Think of this as your second chance. So, who do you want to be in 2034? That would be the question I would leave everyone with. Just think who you want to be in 2034 and start working towards that.
That is so nice and a very positive, outlook towards the year for the viewers, for the listeners as well. And now, as I said initially as well, we want to get into all the zodiac signs one by one. And we actually want to give predictions for the year for each and every zodiac sign. So I think we can just start with that, start with all 12 of them. I'm really excited for my one especially.
Lovely. So, the way we go about this is we'll pull out cards and give guidance. That what is that one message that you need for this year in order to really excel.
So we can start with Aries.
All right. So let's see what the cards have in store for Aries. This is the card. It's the Seven of Pentacles. So Aries for you this year is going to be a lot about assessment, and rightly so. All the hard work that you've done has resulted in some positives. It's a great year for you to start thinking about the spoils that you have collected with all your hard work and invest. Pay careful attention to where you put your money this year. It's a great year for you to invest. Don't be very spendthrift and spend it all. Make sure that you're saving. You will need it for a rainy day, and the timing is good right now to save. If you start new SIPs and mutual funds, they'll grow. Provided, of course, I'm not saying just sign on any SIP. Do your due diligence and research. But it's a good year for you to start thinking about investments for savings and make sure that you put your money to good use.
Now it's my zodiac sign. I'm very, very excited. I'm a Taurian. So let's go for Taurus. How is the year going to be?
So I'll quickly talk about this because this just happened and it can't be a coincidence. I usually find that the last card, whenever I shuffle the deck, has a meaning. And when we started doing this, I started shuffling the deck. The last card that came to me was the same card that I later pulled out for Taurian. So when I was shuffling the last card, I saw this and I thought it was about Rashi. And I asked her a few questions. And she said, yeah, that is me. And then when we were doing the deck and we were pulling out for Taurian, I pulled out the same card. So yeah, and can't be coincidence.
Yeah, exactly.
The cards were face down. Yeah, I had no idea I'm pulling the same thing, but I think your energy is so strong here that it had to pull it out again. So Taurian's King of Cups. The message that's coming through to me for you this year is think about creative pursuits. Think more about where your heart lies. And you don't need to get affected by everything that's happening around you. Make sure that you are steady in your heart and just follow your heart. Whatever's happening around you, ups and downs, you don't need to get bothered by other people's mood swings, other people's opinions. Your heart knows what it wants. Lean into your creative pursuits this year. Go inwards with your emotions and just follow your heart, and things will be okay.
Yeah.
It's also a great year for new romances. Or even if you are in an existing relationship, it's a great year to rekindle that romance.
Okay. And now for Gemini.
Gemini, that's me actually. And I keep pulling this card out. It's not a coincidence, and it kind of aligns. Like I saw your face just like went, oh,
Yeah.
this person, Bichara, like so many swords.
Exactly.
But it's actually a good card, and it is the card of what I was talking about.
Okay.
Realignment. So if you see in this card, it's the 10 of Swords. This person's lying on his back, but it looks like it's the card of rock bottom, like, oh shit, like life's over, but it's actually a card of rebirth. It's the card of beginning something new. The worst has happened and gone. Nothing bad or worse is happening to you now this year. This is the year where you rise from the ashes and start something new. So it's actually a positive card, and it talks about beginning new things. It's a great year for Geminis to start something new. Start a new business, start a new relationship, live in a new country. Whatever situation it was that was stressing you, the worst has happened. It's gone. It's done. It's only upwards from here.
Wow. Now we have predictions for Cancer for this.
Ooh, Cancer. I love this card. King of Pentacles. This is a good year for you to make money. Cancerians will see a lot of fortune and wealth come in. It's also a year for you to think about your earthly possessions. If you're thinking about redoing your house, if you want to renovate it, it's a good year to do it. If you are thinking about buying some materialistic things that have always been on your bucket list, this is the year you're going to get to buy them. It's a good year for you with finances. The same advice I would give you is make sure that you're a little grounded in your financial decisions. Don't get carried away just because you are having a very fortunate period. Make sure you think about your finances also.
And what are the 2026 predictions for Leo?
Leo, it's a beautiful card. It's another, and this is like the year of the sun. It's anyways everywhere in astrology, everybody's talking about it as the year of Leo. So I received the 10 of Cups. You're going to be very emotionally fulfilled this year. It's a great card for building foundations, happy family life. If you're planning on having kids, it's a great year for that as well. And if you already have kids, this is the year that your blessings will also shine through for them. You're going to be in the spotlight. You're going to be illuminated. Your heart's going to be happy. It's a very beautiful card. It's one of the most positive cards you can get in tarot. It's a very fortunate year for you, and it's going to make you feel content.
And how's the year for Virgo is going to be like?
Ooh, Virgo is also the Empress. So again, good year for family planning if you're thinking of having kids. Also a great year for you to enjoy your harvests. You're going to have a lot of abundance in your life. Virgos tend to have a lot of energy around taking care of things and taking care of people. That energy is going to be high for you, but my advice to you would be don't lean in so much to that energy and take care of yourself too. And it's a very good card. You're going to have positive vibes around you, good fortune, good luxury. It's a very beautiful card to receive. Just take care of yourself while you're taking care of everyone else.
And how's the year for Libra is going to look like?
So for Libra, we have the 8 of Cups. Libra, for you this year, maybe a little bit about introspection, where you feel like I'm not gelling so well with people around me. I'm not loving my work. I'm not loving my life and things that I'm doing, but it's fine. You might be feeling it a little bit more. Things are not as bad as you're thinking they are, but it's a great year for you to, again, as I said, 2026, go inward, realign, take a solo trip, think about what you want in life, what brings you contentment, what do you want to do. It's a great year for introspection. And if you're feeling bad about something, mourn that loss. It's fine. You're allowed to feel that grief. You can feel that you're not in sync. But once you felt, let it pass through. Don't fight it. And then come out stronger. Where is it that you want to go? What would bring you satisfaction and contentment? And the answers will come. But the answers will come to you when you are alone. This is not a group healing circle moment.
Yeah.
This is a time for you to think about it yourself.
And now it's for Scorpios. How is it going to be like for them?
Scorpio, it's a great time for you to build new alliances. It's a great time for partnerships. It's a great time for you have been waiting. It's the Three of Wands. You've been waiting for your ship to come. And this year, you're going to see it coming through from the horizon. It's also a great year for travel for you. A lot of good things will happen, good energy.
And how is 2026 for Sagittarius?
Sagittarius, you have the Hierophant. Sagittarius, this is a good year for you to upskill. It's a good time to pursue educational pursuits. It's a good time for you to advance your learning on things that interest you. It's also a good time to get a mentor. If channeling in the 2026 energy of number one, when you want to start heading in a new direction and doing something new, it's great to not learn by trial and error, but learn from other people's mistakes or other people who have achieved the kind of success that you want to, who can help you, who can guide you. And working with even therapists or coaches or reading and making yourself learn more would be very good for you in order to excel in your business, in order to even excel with personal development and in relationships.
And what about 2026 for Capricorn?
Capricorn, we have the Five of Cups. So Capricorns, again for you this year is going to be about, the energy might be a little high on focusing on what you don't have. What somebody else has that you want, but you don't have. It's okay. Feel it and listen to the feeling. Because whatever it is that you don't have that's making you feel a little at loss and low is what you actually want. So think of this as a sort of sign to pursue the direction that you want. Again, you're allowed to feel whatever you're feeling. Good will come out of it. And know that things are not as bad as you're thinking. The grass is not as green on the other side. It's pretty green for you too. But the extra flowers that you want, start thinking how you can get them.
And now we have predictions for Aquarius for this year.
Ooh. Aquarius gets the Eight of Pentacles. So Aquarius, for you, this is a time where you're really going to shine. Things that you have learned up until now, whatever skills you've accumulated in your life, you're going to get to show them off and positively, like the sun energy is going to bring them to life. And you're going to make more money from them. You're going to be pursuing something that you're good at and that you enjoy. And you're going to have a good amount of steady income coming in from doing something that you're already an expert at. And people are going to see it. They're going to recognize it.
And now we have the last zodiac signs. So what are the 2026 predictions for Pisces?
Pisces. Pisces, again, we have the Five of Swords. So, Pisces, this year, I know you're very trusting of everybody around you, but this year, try to be a little bit cynical. Try not to wear your heart on your sleeve and trust everybody and everything that they're saying. Don't take everyone on face value. There may be things happening which you're not aware of, which are hidden from you, happening in secrecy. But try not to make big decisions, trusting others. And also, don't be afraid to ask for help. You have a tendency of trying to do everything yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And again, if an illusion shatters for you this year, it's supposed to. I'd say just be careful in finances and with your heart. Just a little bit lower the rosy tinted glasses and the dreamy, everyone's good. Just try to be a little bit more careful this year.
Wow, that was so nice. And I'm sure everyone really got to know about how they was going to be like for them as per their zodiac sign. But what you told me off camera also, when we were talking about the geopolitical situation for the year, when you were doing the readings before you came, you spoke about something very interesting that happened. Can you tell the audience that?
So I usually, the tarot was invented from a game, right? So you can work with your cards the way you want as a medium. And how in playing Teen Patti, etc., you have dealer's choice and they decide the rules of the game. Me as a medium have certain rules that I have set with my cards.
Correct.
Of how they can communicate with me or show me an energy or bring an answer to me. One of the things that I genuinely believe happens for me and most of the other readers as well, sometimes the cards really want to give you a message. So when you're shuffling, a card will fall down. We call it the jumper. And that's ready to shine for you and give you a message that maybe you're not going to pull me out, but I really want to tell you this is a message. And this happened to me when you'd asked me about the India readings, also about the geopolitical readings as well. I had a jumper card fall down, and which gave me this very strong inclination towards, okay, yes, everybody is going to be very determined. Like each nation is very rigid about following their agendas, no distractions, and they really want to pursue their own ambitions and their own agendas. So that was a message that had strongly come through then. And even when we were doing your personal reading, a card fell down. So I feel like it was my responsibility to pass on that message to you. And I did.
Yeah, that's so nice. And I also want to know that if the universe and if tarot cards could give the listeners one message right now, what would that be? Can we pick something? Can we do something?
Okay. So let's try if this works. Think of a question. Think of any question. And let's see if the cards pull your energy. You can do it through the screen. And in general, I will try to pick out a card that particularly your viewers who have tuned in need to hear. The message.
Okay. So do I need to think of something?
You can. Let's see if it resonates for you also. Hold the question. You don't have to tell me what it is. And we'll see if the reading applies. Okay. It's a beautiful card. So for you and everybody who's tuned in, as I said, this is the end of a cycle. It's a new beginning. It's a rebirth for you. All the lessons that you've learned are coming to fruition. You finished one chapter very successfully. It's a good, fortunate card. If you thought about something, the answer is yes. If it was a yes or no question, you are thinking about, the answer is yes. And it's a beautiful card. It's the world.
Oh, wow.
And it's the last card of the major arcana. So it's literally like what lessons you start from zero are now coming to an end.
Yeah.
And you've completed the cycle beautifully. It's a great card for you to travel. Good things are going to happen. And whatever it is that you were thinking of, the answer is in the positive.
I was thinking of something which was a yes and no sort of a thing. So yeah, I can say this is very, very
Is it about a big change?
not a change really, but it was like, will this happen, or work out kind of a question. So something like that.
Can't say it, but
Oh my God, this was amazing. This was lovely. We kind of covered pretty much most of the things that I know people will want to hear about. And your energy was amazing as always. So thank you so much for coming. And I loved this episode myself. So, as someone who was a host, I thought, I kind of looked at it as like an audience. So it was amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
thank you so much for having me again, Rashi. It was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.